Hey guys, LevelCap here, and today in gaming, CES 2021 hits like a wet slap on a cold night. Bethesda announced a surprising game, the Capcom data breach is worse than anyone imagined, and much more. CES kicked off virtually this morning with presentations from all the biggest names in computer hardware. AMD, Intel, Nvidia, and other companies all made a big show of solidarity with their customers who have been affected by the pandemic, while also announcing gaming laptops. Laptop hardware typically follows the release of new desktop hardware, so it might make sense that this year's CES would feature a lot of mobile processors. But obviously, nothing is typical about the last 12 months. While it's unclear how much use anyone will have for gaming laptops, the good news is it seems like Nvidia and AMD have both made huge strides with performance and power consumption. AMD kicked things off by revealing the Ryzen 5000 HX series laptops. These laptops will feature the latest Ryzen tech crammed into sub 100 watt packages. It gets even crazier for the Ultrabook style laptops. AMD is launching 8-core CPUs for those. That's a pretty big leap over the usual 2 to 4 cores you see in laptops of that variety. These new CPUs will launch in February, likely paired with Nvidia's current-gen mobile GPUs. AMD's RDNA 2 GPUs will roll out for mobile devices over the next 6 months. They're touting performance in the 1440p to 60fps ultra settings range. It sounds like a great fit for laptop gaming. As for Team Green, Nvidia announced the RTX 3060. It's launching next month for $329. It slots in just below the RTX 3070 in terms of performance and is a noticeable improvement over the RTX 2060, at least according to Nvidia's marketing. The desktop version of the 3060 will have 12GB of GDDR6 VRAM. That's more VRAM than all of their lower-end GPUs and even more than the RTX 3070. It's tough to say if that extra VRAM will have any noticeable impact on gaming applications, but for video editing or recording gameplay, it'll give you plenty of headroom. Nvidia won't be offering a Founders Edition of this GPU, so you'll only be able to get it from third-party vendors. As for the mobile RTX 3060, expect laptops to start at $1,000 and offer double the efficiency of the mobile RTX 2060. Nvidia also announced mobile versions of the RTX 3080 and 3070. Over 70 laptops will be packing new Nvidia hardware starting at the end of the month, so keep an eye out if you are in the market for getting a gaming laptop. Intel also came out swinging with a new GPU. Their XeDG2 will likely compete directly with AMD and Nvidia's desktop GPUs. The DG1 was an interesting but handicapped first attempt by Intel to capture some of the GPU market share. But this time around, it seems like they'll only be about a year behind the curve. DG2 GPUs will likely launch in 2022 and offer performance on par with current-gen hardware. And while that might potentially sound like a bit of a letdown, it's a pretty impressive leap for Intel and has great implications for the future of their integrated graphics chips in both laptop and desktop PCs. Bethesda announced their first game to launch under the new Lucasfilms game brand. They're making a proper Indiana Jones game. Development will be handled by Machine Games, who brought the Wolfenstein franchise back into the mainstream in recent years. There's no mention of a release date or what kind of game it will be, but given Machine Games' history, I think it'll likely be an action FPS game. The Capcom data breach last year was already one of the worst breaches ever in gaming history. Details regarding Capcom's release schedule for the next few years, employee info, ports, and other projects all hit the internet following the breach. When Capcom first disclosed the breach, they said up to 9 employees had their personal information compromised, but they just updated that total to confirm over 16,000 people were affected. They said it could have affected nearly 400,000 people in total. The update was made in a statement that insisted no customer data was compromised. Everything in the leaks concerns current and former employees or Capcom partners. The company has also recovered most of their internal systems and security, but they're working closely with authorities in the US and Japan to identify the party responsible for the breach. While the Capcom leak may or may not contain customer data, it's undoubtedly one of the worst leaks in the gaming industry history. Capcom's entire business was exposed for the world to see, ruining all of their marketing plans and attempting to keep future games under wraps until prime time. While it probably won't affect their future sales much, it's still insane to think that someone gained access to that level of data. The rumors about Warzone's next map just keep getting juicier. Speculation now suggests Warzone's next map will launch in March, will be set in the Ural Mountains, reuses much of Cold War's existing Fireteam maps, and also features some classic locations from Black Ops 1. These include Zoo and Summit. While Summit was a launch map for Black Ops 1 and is widely regarded as a fan favorite, Zoo was a DLC map. And as far as DLC maps go, the original Black Ops really had some of the best, and Zoo is no exception. It's just a bit surprising to see a DLC map actually getting the limelight. Warzone's current map is dotted with iconic locations from past Modern Warfare games like Broadcast, Vacant, and Scrapyard. The map itself was made as one giant location and then cut up from Modern Warfare's 2019's various modes. Much of the game's co-op experience takes place around the downtown area of Verdansk, and the Superstore's location is its own map in 6v6. So it makes sense that whoever's in charge of Warzone right now would take the same approach by using Fireteam's maps. Treyarch have probably also developed a giant map and cut it up into pieces for Cold War's various modes. So that map making an appearance in Warzone in some fashion sounds reasonable. As for the current state of Warzone with infinite stim glitch and weapon balance issues, well, there's no official word yet on fixes. Overwatch just got a new map called Kinzaka. It's a free-for-all map that comes packed with some pretty beautiful sights. Alongside the new map, a new Hanzo skin can be unlocked if you complete a challenge. There's also been a bit of lore released for the game that I'm sure will interest players who are into that sort of thing. And the big news is that Blizzard will be discussing Overwatch 2 at BlizzCon Online next month. When they revealed the sequel last year, they made it pretty clear that they were working almost exclusively on it and were essentially putting Overwatch on standby until the sequel launched. Getting a new map now means that they've probably started working on cross-compatibility between the two games and are putting a map designed for Overwatch 2 out for the original game to get some feedback. The games will support crossplay with each other at launch, so even if you don't own Overwatch 2, you'll still be able to play with friends that do. The next-gen upgrade for Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order is live. It offers 60 FPS gameplay on the PlayStation 5, Xbox Series X, and S. As for resolutions and options, it varies from console to console, but you can expect above 1080p on all platforms with even 4K support on the Series X. Though above 1080p, everything is upscaled from a lower resolution, so while you might get 4K output, the game is only running at a max of 2160p on the Series X, for example. The update is free for all existing players. Before we get to our final story of the day, I just wanted to do a quick shout out to the 60% of you that are already subscribed. Your support is phenomenal and it's great seeing so many of you tuned in every day. For those of you who haven't subscribed, go on and hit that sub button, turn on notifications so you don't miss any more gaming news. Sony spent most of their time during CES focusing on TVs and movies, but they also snuck in some big news. They confirmed launch dates for the upcoming PlayStation 5 games. Project Athia, the next game by the Final Fantasy devs, is launching in January 2022. They also confirmed Stray and Ghostwire Tokyo will launch in October of this year. Stray is that cool looking cat game they revealed recently, and Ghostwire Tokyo looks like a linear FPS brawler game of some sort. And that wraps it up for today in gaming. Let me know what you thought was the most exciting reveal at CES so far. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. This is LevelCap signing off.